Good afternoon from the KUOW newsroom. This is Seattle Now. Lock in for a big Tuesday news day. That's what we call it around here. I'm Paige Browning with today's top stories. It's Tuesday, May 12th. Students at the University of Washington are feeling on edge today. The suspect in the murder of a UW student is still at large. The victim, who was a 19-year-old transgender woman, was killed at an off-campus apartment complex Sunday. As Anna Boyko-Wyrock reports, there are many unanswered questions.
On campus, first-year nursing student Tahitna Bihoneng was at the food trucks. She says her friend group is scared to walk around at night now.
We usually do have plans to go out and get dinner Thursday nights or whatever the case is, but now I think we've all collectively decided that we're just not going to leave our dorm at night anymore until this whole situation has been resolved.
Like many students, she wants more information to know how the police are responding and how the university is working to keep students safe. Another big question is if the murder was a hate crime. Seattle police say the motive is under investigation. Anna Boyko-Wyrock, KUOW News.
Our second top story today, Seattle public health officials say 3 King County residents have been possibly exposed to the hantavirus strain that hit a cruise ship this month. Despite that, officials stress the risk to the public is low. One King County resident was on the ship and is now being quarantined at a specialized facility run by the University of Nebraska. 2 other King County residents were potentially exposed when they boarded a plane and sat near another cruise passenger. Dr. Sandra Valenciano is with Public Health Seattle and King County.
The individuals are currently feeling well and they are undergoing symptom monitoring, which includes daily temperature checks and regular communication with our public health team. Even though they were identified as contacts, they are not considered contagious because they currently do not have symptoms.
Valenciano says the situation is very different from the COVID outbreak and says public health officials have a lot of information about hantavirus and how it spreads. She also says that public health has strong contact tracing procedures in place. In tech news today, the explosion of AI means companies are gobbling up land for huge data centers around the country. Now they're looking to Seattle. But the city council says, not so fast. It's considering a 1-year ban. Joshua McNichols has more today.
Councilmember Eddie Lynn sponsored the moratorium bill. He says it's not a permanent ban, just a pause. Councilmember Deborah Juarez supports the idea. She said, at this time, Seattle's just not ready.
There's no regulation. There's no national standard. There's no state standard. We don't even have a definition for data center.
But Councilmember Bob Kettle warned about knee-jerk reactions that could end up costing Seattle valuable tech jobs.
We do not need to be adding more instability to the business climate environment.
The moratorium has been drafted. Next, it'll work its way through the city council. Joshua McNichols, KUOW News.
Continuing the tech beat with phones in schools news. It's been just over a week since Seattle Public Schools implemented its first district-wide cell phone policy for all students. Noelle Gasca stopped by Roosevelt High School, where there's been a similar policy since last year.
Senior Damian Larrett said students are expected to have their phones put away during class.
Some teachers, if they saw you with a phone, they would tell you to put it back.
He said some teachers might give a warning.
Yeah, the next time it's like a call home.
Larrett says those rules often weren't enforced, though. Now, teachers are stricter and point students to the district's overarching policy. The district has argued that tighter phone rules push kids to talk to each other more. But senior Julia Wong feels like cell phones spark conversations with their classmates. They don't stifle them.
Personally, a lot of conversations that I have with people around me is because it's we're showing each other something or we see something, then that's what starts up a conversation. Because otherwise it's just kind of the weather looks nice today.
But on a sunny Monday afternoon, Wong is taking advantage of her free time by taking a walk around the school with her friends. Her phone is back inside the school, tucked away. Noelle Gasca, KUOW News.
Moving along to our environment beat, where conservation could be taking more of a backseat to oil drilling. The U.S. Bureau of Land Management is following through with a proposal to eliminate the so-called public lands rule. Spokane Public Radio's Owen Henderson explains.
The Biden-era rule required the agency to equally consider conservation as a public land use alongside recreation and commercial uses, like mining, timber, or grazing. Land management officials in September proposed axing the rule, and Monday, the agency published a notice finalizing the rule's elimination. In the filing, BLM says the rule introduced unnecessary complexity to permitting and planning and threatened to restrict productive use of the lands. This comes alongside other Trump administration actions to expand commercial public land use like oil drilling or mineral production. In a statement, Allison Flint with the Wilderness Society said the elimination flouts BLM's responsibility to manage land in a way that balances a variety of needs. The agency manages more than 16 million acres across Washington and Oregon and nearly 12 million acres in Idaho, about a quarter of the state. The rule's elimination takes effect June 11th. I'm Owen Henderson reporting.
A couple of legal issues today, one involving Boeing, but first, one against the conservative group Let's Go Washington. A campaign finance watchdog claims the group did not disclose political advertising, despite advertising with podcaster Brandi Cruz on more than 150 occasions. The watchdog Washingtonians for Ethical Government is asking the Public Disclosure Commission to investigate this. Let's Go Washington told the Seattle Times it has never paid Cruz, and Cruz told the paper she didn't receive any money from the group. Let's Go Washington is the group behind several statewide initiative campaigns, including a failed attempt to repeal the Climate Commitment Act. And on to Boeing. For the first time, an airline is suing the company over all the safety concerns involving its 737 MAX. The Polish carrier LOT Airlines says it leased about 15 jets in 2016, jets that were grounded 3 years later following 2 fatal plane crashes. LOT claims Boeing knew there were problems with the 737 MAX's software but downplayed it to sell more planes. Reuters reports Boeing suggested in court that LOT is exaggerating its financial damages. Now, our feature story today about something I find kind of fun to say, Helix Fish Passage. There's a new kind of fish passage on the Cle Elum River Dam just east of the Cascades. It cost close to $300 million, paid for with state and federal money. It's called a fish helix. KNKX environment reporter Bellamy Palethorpe went to check it out.
Looking at diagrams of this new structure, you might be reminded of the circular driveways at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. It's a similar shape, but not as large. And on this day, it's nearly submerged by the dam's reservoir. A small group of advocates for fish and for farmers are gathered inside the spiral structure. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation was leading the tour in collaboration with the Yakima tribe. Chad Stewart is the field office manager here for the federal agency.
Probably looks faster than it is, but you look down.
Looking down, he says this design makes the ride past the dam much gentler for baby fish on their way to the mouth of the Columbia River system. These are sockeye. Previously, they had a more treacherous journey over the dam down a spillway. The Helix is more like a water slide at an amusement park, with a tunnel at the bottom that they glide through. It's designed to nurture the instincts of the baby fish to swim upstream and help make them stronger on the way down as they ride backwards. Joe Blodgett is in charge of this project for the Yakima tribe. He says that this is important progress in reaching the goal of self-sustaining fish runs.
But we will see all of the stocks that were once here back returning at numbers that we can at least have that hope that the next generation or a generation after that will continue on.
Normally, melting snowpack would allow these fish to move only when the reservoir is full. They would spill over the top of the dam. Now, this new structure is taking over for the mechanism that nature previously provided. With the Helix, the fish can meet the water at lower levels. There's no need to wait for full reservoirs to get them past the dam. That means Washington's water shortages will be less lethal to these fish as the ongoing drought challenges the region. I'm Bellamy Palethorpe reporting.
Next time on Seattle Now, Sound Transit wants to manage the chaos of some of its park and ride garages by giving drivers an option to pay to park. And the permits are in high demand.
When Linwood opened in August of 2024, within a month it was full and people were parking illegally outside the station. They said it was at 105% capacity, which sounds impossible until you realize that people are just parking where they shouldn't be.
Hear more Wednesday morning. That's all for today from the KUOW newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See ya.